now the question is it helpful for us to make art? Is that process helpful? And what you might not know about this channel is that many, many years ago, we had a theater company. It was a very small, very new theater company before we started doing this work more and more. And we had this series of works where we would see the audience come in and we would present a work that we had designed to be in some way transformative, and then the audience would leave, and the audience looked more or less the same as they did when they came in. Sometimes they were happy, like sometimes they had had a good time, they had enjoyed the experience of the show, and so we had done the part of entertainment, but you could tell these are people who are now going to go home or maybe go out to dinner, and they'll tell their friends they saw a very cool show, and that's it. That's the last. This will change for them. That's the end of this experience for them of transformation. And they felt so helpless. And then I remember coming to this revelation about a decade ago where I thought maybe it's not really for the audience. Maybe it is for this team, the cast, the designers, the stage crew, this team that we build who have the opportunity together to come to revelations through the rehearsal process, through the performance process, through this time when we're in a room together really trying to investigate what truths we have come here to tell. And so in that process, maybe we can become better. And I think that what they're pointing to by bringing up that personal anecdote is there may be benefit to the artist for creating the art. But the danger is when you believe that it stops when you've made the art. The art is meant to maybe, like cleanse you, center you, prepare you for the real work. Art is a regenerative practice. Regenerative practices are necessary. If we spend all of our time doing challenging, painful, suffering work, we'll burn out. And then we will be no use to ourselves or to anyone. We must regenerate. It is not a luxury, it is a requirement. Everyone has different definitions of regeneration, and now there's much arguing, but actual regeneration is a requirement. I think we can all agree. That is what the art is. And so upstairs, they aren't saying stop making art. It is not useful. What they're saying is it is foolish. It is foolish for us to pretend that by making art, we will have a high success rate, hedging our bets, high success rate of inspiring our audience to live their destinies, to transform into more effective versions of themselves. It is not likely. You might get a few. But odds are good. Those are people who were looking to be transformed anyway, and so they might have been transformed by, not that your art isn't special and important, but they might have been transformed by almost any art they came across because they were in that place of openness, which for some people is a brief window that happens a couple times in their lives, and it just happens that they walked into the theater and they saw this movie that spoke to them in this very specific way. Yes. So they're saying whether or not your audience has those transformative experiences is out of your control. What you can control is your experience in making the art. And so please, they say, I don't know who they're talking to, maybe the person who answered the question, maybe someone else. I don't know. They're saying, please, please, please make your art with the intention to become the person you were born to be. When you enter into an artistic process and engage in artistic process, do it to come out the other side somehow more yourself, somehow more clarified. And then don't stop at the art. The art is the regenerative practice. It's like If you were to get massages and do face masks a lot, and then say, this is my purpose in the world, is to get massages and do face masks. No, my dear, those are things that you can do to regenerate after you've done hard work. But then you have to go back to the work and do the work that is necessary. The regeneration is not the work. The art, very sadly, in this era is not the work. The work probably has to do with something bigger than humans. Oh, interesting. And they're saying art solves a human problem. Art has never solved a planetary problem. Never in a real way, they're saying. There are some people who use recycled things in their art, and they're saying it like, they're not being mean. They're saying it in like a jokey way. But art has only ever been a tool to solve human problems. The problems on planet Earth now, so much bigger. So much bigger. We caused it. Our species caused these problems, but now they are so much bigger. Art will not save the elephants. Art will not save the polar bears. Art will not save the Spix's macaw. Art will not save the Arctic. You will never be able to paint a painting that can bring back what has been lost and is being lost so rapidly. It cannot be done. The real work that we need to do, wow, I've never cried this much while channeling. The real work that we need to do solves the planetary problems. So once you've made the art, and you've done it in a way that brings your soul back into your body, that reminds you who you are, then we must continue with the planetary problems. We've got to start to figure out a way to stop the pollution, the biodiversity loss, the climate crisis. We've got to. And interesting, what they're saying is if you have the transformative skills that it takes to create art and to do it over and over again, even when it's challenging, you have what it takes to solve the planetary problems. Because really all it takes is curiosity and willingness. And what is the word? It's like continued willingness. It's like repetition. It's like just showing up over and over again. Even when you aren't sure how it's going to turn out, which frankly, every artistic process I have ever been a part of in a life that has had a lot of artistic processes, we never knew exactly how it was going to turn out. We had a pretty good vision. Sometimes we had strong vision, but nothing ever looked like the vision when it was all over. Neither will this, neither will any of this. But your ability to find step after step after step after step from where you are right now to that vision, that is what is needed to save the world. So, the initial question was, is it still valid to dedicate your life to art in this era, or should we spend our time differently in a way that benefits the world more directly? Okay, we've gone through a lot. The short answer is art is still helpful as a regenerative practice. It is not either or, it is yes and. You can still create art. It is, in fact, if you are someone who is driven to create art, almost always it's part of your soul plan as a regenerative practice. If you feel that need to make stuff, there's a reason I keep making these videos, even as life circumstances change. If you need to make something, that is not a mistake. It is not an abomination. It is not some kind of weird mutation. No, you were built that way and you must make things. And of course, you can make things that are meant to inspire people. You can make things that expose the ugliness of the world or illuminate the beauty of the world. But to never allow that to be an excuse to not do something more directly. And so it isn't, should we dedicate our life to art, or should we spend our time differently? No, it is both. You should really try to do something to mitigate the disasters on our planet, because you'll feel better at the end of this life. Whenever it ends, you will feel so much better if you've done something. But you can make art too. So maybe it doesn't count as dedicating your life to it if you do other things that are more directly useful to the planet. But the art is useful to you. The art is good for you to do. And we mean that, they're saying, we mean that sincerely. We mean that not in some kind of condescending way. They're saying, no, it is good for you. It's like going for a walk or drinking enough water. It's healthy. Just don't ever pretend that that is the extent of your gift to this world. You are even more than art, and how wonderful that is. So many people spend their lives thinking they're not enough for art, and you are not only enough for art, you're enough for so much more. That's great to find out, I think. Alright. Wow, I did not expect this to go the direction it went in. So many tears. Alright, let's ask the guardian angels if there's any more they want to address. It feels kind of like they've closed up the hatch for today, which is fine. We're going to send up a lot of gratitude to the guardian angels who came and answered the questions. They never have to. Never, ever, ever have to answer the questions. And so when they do, we should be so grateful to them. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. As a reminder, I very rarely post on YouTube anymore. I do regularly post on my Patreon channel. There is a link in the description under this video. Many of the sessions are similar to this one, where it's interdimensional channeling based on questions from the audience. But we also have behind the scenes videos that are posted. We have group healing sessions where someone from the audience presents an issue they're working with, and we do a healing for everyone in the audience who shares that issue. There are a lot of different ways in which we engage with this work on the Patreon channel. So if this is something that interests you, if you want to ask more questions, if you want to investigate more about the big truths of the universe that we happen to get through this interdimensional channeling system, please do join the Patreon. It would be so good to have more faces, more questions coming in. It's a lovely community. Everyone there is a delight. Also, I do have a private healing practice where I work with people to answer actually questions like this, big questions of their life. And also with the energy healing techniques that I use, we can heal symptoms of the life, physical issues, emotional issues, life issues. We can work with that in such a way as to bring forth the transformation that we talked a little bit about today. If you're interested in trying a private healing session, I highly recommend it. I work distantly for the most part by phone. It still works even if we're not in the same room. If you were able to feel energy moving in this video, you will absolutely be able to feel it in a one-on-one healing session. The link to my website will be underneath this video. By all means, go ahead. Send me a message. I will respond. It is a pleasure to be able to do this work. The more of us who engage, the more people who participate in the Patreon, the more people who participate in healing sessions, the more often we're able to do this kind of videoing work and share it with each other. So please do. Please, it would mean a lot. All right, my friends, you did excellent work today. I really look forward to hearing how it goes for you. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.